Tunic is an incredibly difficult game to cover in a video, because its most amazing components are exactly the ones that I don't want to spoil for those that haven't experienced it. I mean, it's so good, but if I tell you why, it instantly becomes way less cool when you go and play it for yourself. Luckily, the insight gained from a game being over a year old has led me to believe there are 3 camps of people that may be watching this. Those who have never played Tunic and are curious why I would label it as having good game design, those who have played some of Tunic but fell off because they didn't like it, or those that have finished Tunic and know exactly why I would label it as having good game design. So I figured the best method to discuss how exactly I fell in love with this title would be to split the video into non-spoiler, semi-spoiler, and full-on spoiler sections for those 3 camps respectively. So let's start with a basic overview for the newbies out there. Tunic is an adventure game that takes inspiration from the original Legend of Zelda in its level design, Dark Souls in its atmosphere and world building, and old school games in general in its overall challenge and aesthetic. I knew the game had strikingly beautiful visuals and an incredible soundtrack by Lifeformed from the trailers. But what I didn't expect was Tunic's clever use of uncovering its game manual 1 page at a time, where as you find pieces scattered around the world, you learn about the game's main mechanics and where to go next. That means there's no traditional tutorial here, you're sort of thrown into the deep end right off the bat. And even more interesting, Tunic uses a made-up language for most of its dialogue and written text. So even if you pick up something useful, you may have no clue what it does or how to use it. But by context clues, deductive reasoning, or simply testing things out in the field, you peel back the layers of mystery little by little and learn the true goal of your adventure. This takes the teaching without telling principle to a whole new level. But that's not entirely true because Tunic does use English letters when it wants to lead you in a certain direction. It gives you just enough information to find a bread trail and follow it, which ends up being the primary form of discovery as you journey around the world. On top of this, in true 90s gamer fashion, there's handwritten notes littered throughout to give you hints or coffee stains on pages that need some extra attention, as if the omniscient owner of this manual has pored over every detail themselves. It's quite unique, but it's also extremely intentional, because what Tunic doesn't tell you is that it's not really an adventure game. It's a game about secrets, and even more secrets, and hiding secrets within those secrets to the point that by the time I'd finished the game, that sword-swinging, item-using, boss-fighting gameplay had merely become a facade, hiding that ooey-gooey puzzly center that ends up feeling on par with the likes of Fez, The Witness, and Baba Is You all rolled into one. If that interests you even a little, I urge you to go play Tunic before continuing. There's a lot more going on here than it would originally seem. But maybe you're not quite convinced, or as I've heard many people say, they tried Tunic but couldn't get past the first few hours because it just didn't mesh with them, or they thought it was going to be a basic Zelda ripoff without much substance. Well, for you, my second camp of people, I'm going to reveal just a taste of that spoilery goodness that won't ruin the whole experience, but will hopefully wet your whistle enough to give it another go. As I said, Tunic is all about hidden rewards, and it pushes you in the direction of finding them even from the start of the game. Early on, the main path forward is hidden behind a waterfall, a classic video game trope that rewards curious explorers, and inside lies a darkened area that you need to consult the map in order to safely navigate. This giant yellow pad looks important, but you can't seem to interact with it in any way, so you move on until you find the manual page that tells you how you can do so. And keep in mind, both of these were accessible from the get-go, you just didn't have the knowledge of how it worked yet. But about 3 or so hours in, I discovered the truly earth-shattering revelation that told me Tunic was going to be doing this a lot. You see, that yellow pad acts as a teleportation device, and after using it to discover a new area, I started scouting around for what to do next, and in doing so found a ladder that ended up leading me on a secret path back to this windmill and shooting me out at the main hub area near the start of the game. This path was always here, but because of the isometric camera angle, I couldn't see it, and I just didn't think to ever look behind it. You see, Tunic isn't just a game about discovering secrets. It's about secrets hiding in plain sight. Unlike the game Tunic had been pretending to be, where skills seem to be the most important asset, instead knowledge now becomes the primary currency. And Tunic just keeps on doing this, blowing my mind again and again and again. More revelations continued to pour in, helping me find shortcuts, gain special abilities, beat challenging bosses, and eventually reach the ending. But foolish me, based on the amount of surprises I experienced so far, I should have realized this was simply training me for the true quest that was about to begin. Last chance, if you really want to see what's hiding beneath the surface, give Tunic a try for yourself. Cause from now on, I'm talking about the whole kit and caboodle. Okay? Are we good? Let's do this. Throughout the game, you catch wind of something called the Holy Cross, which I assumed was an overpowered weapon or something. But once you discover this manual page, which is locked behind a late game ability, you see that it actually relates to a code you can type in to unlock this stubborn door that I've been trying to unlock for the entire game. Oh my gosh, Holy Cross, I get it now. This is the most versatile secret in the game, because once you understand that these lines represent the direction to press as if you're following it to the end, you start to see Holy Cross puzzles everywhere, and the real hunt for Tunic's 100% completion ending begins. There are 12 treasures, 20 fairies, and 56 manual pages hidden in Tunic's world, most of which are tucked behind a brain teaser of some kind. And while they start out simple enough, it feels like each one becomes increasingly more ridiculous than the last. One time I booted up the game and it had added this mysterious save file that drops you into a seemingly pointless hallway until you realize the path itself is a line puzzle. Here you find a broken tablet with the bottom of another puzzle on it, and you need to find all of the missing pieces you've seen along your journey and write out the solution by hand to make the chest appear. Even the innocuous windmill, which was the source of my first big epiphany in Tunic, hides another goodie by following the slits in the fabric of its blades. Then of course there's the granddaddy of all puzzles, the Golden Path. High in the mountaintops lies a gigantic wall with no foreseeable way of entry. And even when you do see the manual page dedicated to it, it just seems like some kind of cryptogram. So I started flipping around the manual looking for clues and, hey, wait a minute, that's weird. Why do these kind of look like, oh no way. Each page in the manual, ones I've looked at 100 times already, hides a section of the Golden Path. I spent days just trying to piece this together like a madman. It's unbelievably satisfying to solve, and part of the reason is that all of this information was available from the start of the game. And similar to Outer Wilds, the only barrier to overcome is your own awareness of its existence. Like, even if I showed you a puzzle, you wouldn't know it was one unless you already understood it. But the other reason is because every element that seemed like decoration or just adding character to the world is purposeful and important in some way. No stone is left unturned in Tunic. And the way the game drops smaller secrets along the way to teach you to always keep an eye out and scour the manual for clues makes you prepared for such an undertaking in the endgame. Also, the fact that it's hidden beneath a seemingly innocent adventure game makes it all the more shocking to unfold. It ended up being one of the most fulfilling gaming experiences I've ever had, and simultaneously one that I felt was impossible to talk about. But hey, here you go, now I have. If you're like me and became enamored with this title after finishing it, there's a video by NoClip that I can't recommend enough, where they interviewed the development team and discussed their design philosophy. If you're a prospective game dev yourself, there are countless nuggets of wisdom packed into this thing. I'll link it in the description below for you. If you've played Tunic, what was the aha moment where everything seemed to click into place for you? Or if there's another game that left you with such a sense of wonder and accomplishment, tell me about it in the comments below and let's talk about it. Thanks for watching another episode of Good Game Design. I'll see you next time. Stay frosty, my friends.